So guys, I'm really excited because we have only 29 questions on the final and we're now already on number 17. Keep in mind you're going to be taking your test on the Chromebook, and so it's not going to be in the same order.
We never did 16 history.
Okay, so let's take a look at question number 17.
So how are we supposed to show her what?
Beth claims that if a graph of a polynomial has zeros at negative 6, 0 and 2, 0, then the factored form of the polynomial is written as x plus 6 times x minus 2. Well, is she right? On the test, there's going to be 4 different options. Over here, I just put 2 because I didn't feel like you need more than 2 to get a sample of what you're going to be seeing on the final. But A basically says what? Yes, she did it right. And what does B say? B says no. Beth should have written the correct format, and then I put a blank line underneath because the test is very smart, right? The people who came out with the test are very smart people. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you stuff that's going to make you think that it is the correct answer, such as this. But that is wrong, right? Because what is the correct answer for number 17? We learned this yesterday for a little bit in the beginning, right?
Oh, yeah.
What is the answer for question number 17? Is it A, yes, or B, no?
No.
Yes, the correct answer is A. Okay? Because look, yesterday I showed you a question where it said the x-intercepts are this and that. Okay? And then you have to select the correct question, right? Over here, they're telling you that the zeros are at negative 6, 0 and 2, 0. In other words, your answers or your roots or your solution is at x is equal to negative 6 and x is equal to 2. Because those are your x values when your y values are 0. And that's the definition of an x-intercept, right? So it's exactly the same question actually. Okay? And so if you were to factor that, I told you yesterday, what you gotta do is your answer ended up being x is equal to negative 6. So then your equation should be the opposite, x plus 6 times x minus 2. Your answer is positive 2, so your equation should be x minus 2. Because if you set them equal to 0, you have to add 2 to both sides for this one and you'll get 2, which is this. And then if you subtract 6 from both sides, you'll get negative 6, which is that right there, right? Okay, so you should know right away, this is the simplest form that the answer is A, that it is correct, okay? But then yesterday, I said I want you to make it more complicated. So instead of just saying x plus 6 times x minus 2, what did I say? You can just randomly add a coefficient over here. Just pick any number, and I want to pick 4. Then I'm going to multiply 4 to both of these terms. So it's going to be 4x plus 24. And then if I wanted to go ahead and just make this a little bit more, make it look a little bit more complicated, I can just go ahead and select any number, for example, 7. And then just multiply 7 to the x and the negative 2, 7x minus 14. And it will still be the correct equation that gives you the same answer, which is negative 6, 0 and 2, 0. I want you to understand what it is that you are doing, okay? There are many different equations that you can create that will give you the same answer, okay? However, in this question, number 17, we're just working with the simplest, the most basic equation, okay? But you can actually multiply any number to both parentheses and still get the correct answer, okay? So then, now that I've explained this to you, most of this was taught to you yesterday, right? So I want you to go ahead and practice question number 17B. Ready? Go. Okay, so just so you know, 17, the answer was A. 17B, the answer was B, as in no. And the correct equation was x plus 9 and x minus 3, okay? So here's the next question that I want you to copy. Question number 18 and 18B, right? So this is one of those really easy questions. Let's copy this first. Ready? Go. Okay, so let's go back. So here's the first question that we have to copy, right? X squared plus 56x plus 784 is equal to x plus m squared. Which of the following is the value of m? So hopefully you recognize what this is. Okay, this is completing the perfect square. And again, there are many steps to it, and this is just one step. Okay, so if you remember, in order for you to simplify into that complete perfect square form, okay, I know you think that you have to do the big X, but you don't. Because this, you already know is a perfect square. How do you know this? Because they set it up for you. They said this is equal to x plus m squared. They just want you to find out what m is, okay? So pretty much, if you remember the big square, the x squared was this big square, and you have 56 rectangles. So how many rectangles do you have to put on this side, and how many rectangles do you have to put on this side?
You have to put 28.
Yeah, you have to put 28 ones over here. So it's going to be x plus 28 over there, and x plus 28 here, right? And now how many little squares are you going to have? There's going to be a lot. You know how many? There's going to be 784 of them. I wouldn't be able to draw them. Obviously, I didn't draw 28 rectangles on this side or that side because it's going to take forever. It's a waste of all our times because you already know it. So then, what do you think the answer for m is over here? 28. So m is 28. That's it. Because it's x plus 28 times x plus 28. This is like the easiest thing in the world. So again, the way you learn things from Miss Choi, you looked at one question and you went from beginning to the end. If you know how to do all the questions that I ever taught you, you can get automatically 10 questions right on the final. Okay? So please make sure you revisit all the lessons, go online, watch the videos. It would help you. This is only one step in completing the square. Okay? And that's it. M is equal to 28. Now I want you to move on to 18b and work at it on your own.
How did you get 28?
Okay, how did I get 28? There's 56 rectangles. So if you want to make the perfect square, that means this side and this side has to be the same. So you got to evenly split the 56 rectangles into two and put 28 of them here and 28 of them there. That's it. Yeah, and then how did you find the little squares? 28 times 28. And if you use your calculator to figure it out, you'll get 784. Okay? All right. Ready? 18b. Ready? Go. Okay, so here's question number 19. I would like you to go ahead and copy this question first. Ready? Go. That was important. Okay, guys, so let's take a look. Question number 19. This is a very important question. This is what you actually learned in Math 1. I remember because this was one of those questions in my Math 1 class last year. Okay, so anyway, in the interval in between 3 and 4. You see that? Okay, in between 3 and 4. It says, oops, wrong pen. It says in between 3 and 4. You see that? So in between 3 and 4, what are you looking for? A graph that shows a function that is increasing. So on the x line, what are we looking for? 3 and 4. Okay? So I'm looking for 3 and 4. You see that? I'm looking for 3 and 4. So in that area, right there, only in that area. I'm not looking at the whole graph. I'm just looking at that area. Which graph is increasing? The first or the second one? The first one. In between 3 and 4, it's increasing. Only in between 3 and 4 because it says only in the interval in between 3 and 4. Okay? It's increasing. Over here in between 3 and 4 where x is 3 and 4, what's the graph doing? It's decreasing. Yes?
Would the first one still be the answer, like right before, like in between 3 and 4, it started to go down again?
No. Because it's only asking if it's increasing or not. Okay? So if, let's say the question was in between 2 and 3. What happens in between 2 and 3? It goes down and then up, right? So then that wouldn't be the answer because it's going down and up.
Okay.
Oh wait, it's increasing. So yeah, it goes down and then it goes up. So it is increasing. Get it? Okay. Yeah. In the end, it has to be increasing. Okay? Alright. So now let's move down because I actually have another one.
So wait, which graph? Oh, wait.
The first one. And then I have one more graph. Okay? And of course on the test you have like 4 graphs, okay? So we're looking for in between where? 3 and 4, right? Or was it 2 and 3?
3 and 4.
In between 3 and 4. So let's take a look. In between 3 and 4. That's what we have. What are we doing? We're increasing, right? So we have 2 answers for this question. In the interval between 3 and 4, the first graph and the third graph is increasing. This is a very easy question, right? Yes.
Will it have like those types minus like you have to take 2 of them?
Yeah. I want you to understand that there's a lot of questions where there are more than one correct answers. Okay? Yes.
If you only get one, like if you have a choice, like a question.
If you get only one right, some questions give you partial credit, some questions don't. Okay? So basically, if you select everything as the correct answer, you'll get it wrong. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so now I want to give you the practice question, and the practice question is very simple. I'm just going to go ahead and change the interval to in between 0 and 1. Okay, so if the interval is in between 0 and 1, which ones would be the answer? Which function is increasing? Okay, ready? Go. Okay, so first of all, I want you to go ahead and copy the question. Question number 20. Ready? Go. And now that you are done, let's go ahead and solve this. Now, which of these statements accurately describe the graph of the function? Now, this is another complete square. Okay? So, if you look at this carefully, we have an x squared plus 16x plus 64. So, if you remember the stuff that Miss Choi gave you, remember the paper? The x squared is a square. And then we have how many rectangles, guys? Oh, it's 16. I said 18. We have 16 of them. So yeah, we're going to put 8 on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is not going to be accurate, guys, okay? Don't yell at me later on. Let's show you only drew 7 or 10, you know? So there's going to be 8 over here and then another 8 on this side. And so how many little squares are we going to have over here?
12.
How did you get 12? Yeah, we get 64 because if there's 8 here, and 8 here, 8 times 8 is 64. So we're going to need 64 little squares, remember? And guess what? We have everything. We got the x squared, we got the 16 rectangles, and we got the 64 little squares. This is a complete square. So what is the equation for this one? What is the factored form? It's going to be x plus 8 squared, right? Because it's x plus 8 times x plus 8, right?
Yeah.
So then what does that mean? If you were to graph this, it's going to look like this. Okay? This is going to be negative 8 right here, and it's going to look like that. Why is it going to look like that? Because when you say that this is equal to 0, when you say that x plus 8 squared equals 0, then you know that x plus 8 has to equal 0. Okay? Because 0 squared is 0, right? So then, x plus 8 equals 0. So if you subtract 8 from both sides, what do you get? X is negative 8. So that's how I know that the graph is going to touch the negative 8, but it's not going to pass through it. So then these are all trick questions, because these two are what? Negative 8, and these two are what? Positive 8. So the first thing they're testing you is, do you understand that you're supposed to put 8 rectangles, not 8 negative rectangles? Okay, remember? Not 8 negative rectangles, but 8 positive rectangles, okay? So that's what they're trying to figure out first, okay? And then, do you know that when you graph it, it touches the negative 8. So then we already know that C and D is not it, because we're not touching the positive 8, we're touching the negative 8. And then they're testing you again. Is it passing through?
No.
Or is it touching? It's touching, it's not passing through. Passing through would be like this. Okay? There you go. So it's touching. Okay? Whenever you have a perfect square, it's touching. Unless there's like a plus something. If there's like a plus 3, then it's or minus 3 is a different story. Okay? So, anyhow, I want you to go ahead and solve the next question. Okay? Alright. And the next question is right here. Okay? So it's exactly the same thing. I want you to take a look at this and solve it. Raise your hand if you are lost. Thank you for a great day. Ready? Go.